The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing warmly on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Then he had found a dried piece of mackerel's tail at the far end of his ledge. Now there was not a single scrap of food left. He had searched every inch, rooting among the rough, dirt-caked straw nest where he and his brothers and sister had been hatched. He even gnawed at the dried pieces of egg's shell. It was like eating a part of himself. Now, here in this passage, we can understand that the sun was rising now. After the night, now the sun was rising and it was quite warm. Of course, near the seashore, it would be very cool. Okay, and at that time, if the sun comes, you will feel warm over there. And the ledge was faced to the south direction. So, and from where does the sun rises? It rises in the east. So, the ledge was in the south, the sun was rising from east. But here it says that still, though it was warm, the seagull felt heat. Why did he feel heat? Because he had not eaten since the previous night. It was almost 24 hours. The previous night itself he did not eat anything. His parents were not around him. His siblings were not around him. He was left all alone without any food. So he was completely weak. As he was weak, his body was not able to bear the warmth. It seemed as heat. The warmth seemed as heat. Sometimes if you take a ice cube and you just place it in your body, instead of feeling cool, you will feel that burning sensation. You will feel that the ice cube is burning your skin, isn't it? That is because your skin is weak, your body is weak. Now, then he had found a dried piece of mackerel's tail at the far end of his ledge. So, at the end of his ledge, okay, the ledge was too long, so he just moved here and there early in the morning. He was feeling heat, so he wanted to run from there, from the heat. So, as he was moving, at the end of the ledge, he found a tail of a fish which name is mackerel. Now, there was not a single scrap of food left. There was no other food, nothing was there except this tail. So he had searched every inch, rooting among, he searched everywhere, every place, not even leaving a little space. He's rooting among the rough, that means everywhere, even the rough place. He dug everything with his beak, everything he searched here and there. The dirt-caked straw nest, that is the nest where their parents had laid eggs of his, then his brothers and sisters, they had come out of an egg, right? So those eggs, where were they placed? Of course, they were placed in the nest. What kind of a nest? A nest of straw. So that straw, have you seen a bird's nest? If it is long days back, so if you just break it and throw it, you can just find the shape of the nest but broken into pieces. So that's what the cake, okay? So it was, cake means frozen. The shape was just like that. So the caked straw nest where he and his brothers and sisters had been hatched. He even gnawed at the dried piece of eggshell. He also wanted to eat the eggshell, the dried piece of eggshell from where they all came out. But when he ate that, he felt as if he is eating a part of his own body. Okay? So he searched every places. He found the tail of the fish, but still that would have not been enough, because tail, what flesh would be there? So he searched everywhere. He digged the mud, the leaf holes and all, everything. He searched everywhere. He searched the nest also. The dirty nest, of course, that nest would be stinking, yes, all their dirts would be there, everything he searched, but he could not find anything. And then he tried to eat the eggshell, and that also he felt as if he is eating himself. Now, let us think about ourselves in this passage. Wasn't there a time when we were left alone, we used to think, what shall I do? Where shall I end up with? You know, I don't get any solution. I don't get any kind of way out. So we what do we do at that time? Just we break our heads thinking, how can I come out of it? What can I do next? What can I find in such a way that it would help me? Whom shall I find? Or what shall how shall I solve this? This is what we keep on thinking, just going around when we are all alone. When we find ourselves alone, messed in a problem, when we don't obey our family, when we don't obey our parents, our brothers and sisters, when we don't follow them and we are left all alone, when we walk in our own way, finally we will find ourselves left all alone and in a very bad condition, as this fellow seagull was. He was in a very bad condition because of his hunger. And so we also, certain times, are in a very bad stage that we won't even be able to, come out of our own saying, Mummy, I'm sorry, Daddy, I'm sorry. And we'll be just there. Don't know what to do. We know if we come to our parents, the seagull knew if he will fly, he will get his food. We know if we come back to our parents and if we say sorry, we'll get a solution. But still, we won't. We will just go around the ledge as the seagull did. He just went around the ledge and found nothing to eat. The same way, we will go around the room or around all the ideas, but we will find nothing. Wasn't there any time like this in our life? I hope we all had a time. Now let's see what happened next to the seagull. He then trotted back and forth from one end of the ledge to the other, his long grey legs stepping daintily, trying to find some means of reaching his parents without having to fly. But on each side of him, the ledge ended in a sheer fall of precipice with the sea beneath, and between him and his parents there was a deep, wide crack. So, this fellow, when he went all around the ledge, but he could find nothing. At last he ate the eggshell, and when he ate the shell of the egg, he felt eating himself. So do we, isn't it? We go here and there and just find a way out for ourselves. We will just find a idea, ஒரு வழி இல்லாமல் ஏதாவது ஒரு ஐடியாவை without any option, just takes whatever comes in your mind. I just want to come out, get out of it, and you just try one idea, and that idea will be like, oh, this created more problem. That's what he ate that, but he felt as if he is eating himself. We will take one solution and we will feel, oh man, I killed myself. என்னையே நான் என்ன செஞ்சிட்டேன், பாதிக்க வச்சிட்டேங்கிற மாதிரி. So it's something like that. That's what he felt, that he felt like eating a part of himself. Now after he felt all this thing, he then went back and forth from one end to the other again. Again he went here and there, from this end to that end of the ledge. And what happened? His long grey legs stepping daintily, trying to find some means of reaching. Okay, so with his long legs, he started going here and there, just trying to find out anything, something that he may get. There won't be, though he went here and there, again he wants reaching his parents without having to fly. Now he was moving why? That was the reason, to reach his parents. Previously we saw he was going to this end to that end to find to eat something, but now he wanted to reach his parents without flying. Without flying. We also, when we are left alone, we think, won't our parents come? We would do something, some idiot thing, thinking that these things will allow our parents to come towards me. Maybe some funny things or something bad, or banging the door or cupboards and all, and we'll be thinking, if by banging this my mother will come and ask me why, what happened. I will not go to her, but she should come to me, and then I will tell her, like, if I will go, it's shame on me, but if she comes, no problem. Image problem, we have the image problem. Na eppadi poga, isn't it? It's something. So this fellow also, he didn't wanted to, he wanted to reach his parents without flying. He didn't want to fly. Still, he didn't want to fly. He wanted to reach his parents without flying. And then what happened? But on each side of him, the ledge ended in a sheer fall. At each and every side, what happened? The edge ended in a sheer form, that is, in a very peak form. And at that time, what happened? Of precipice with the sea beneath. With the sea beneath. It had a sea beneath it. Precipice is a steep side of a cliff or a mountain. Okay, it is a steep. What do you mean by steep? Steep is very low, very down part. So a place which is almost a bending type. So if he stands there, it may slip his leg down like that. So a sheer fall of precipice with the sea beneath, and the sea is beneath it. So if he slips there, of course he will go into the sea. And between him and his parents there was a deep wide crack. So between him and his parents was a deep wide crack, was a very big gap, you can say, a very big gap, because his parents were there around the sea and he was here up in the leap. So, my dear children, isn't it? We would try that our parents would come by them to us and ask us, what happened, Da? What happened? How shall I help you? Do you want me to help you to come out of it? Okay, fine, no problem. Now do like this, do like that. We want our parents to come to us and help us. But we don't feel that we should go and say, Mummy, I'm sorry. Or, Daddy, I'm sorry. What I done was wrong. I did not obey you. I did not ask a guidance or a advice from you. Please help me out. We won't go, but we want them to come and help us. That is what this fellow, the seagull, tried to do without flying. He wanted to reach his parents. Without asking sorry, we want help from our parents. That way, without flying, he wanted his parents' help. And at the same time, when he used to try to go without flying for his parents' help, he found himself that he will have a fall very beneath into the sea, between the deep wide gap of his parents and him. Can you see the gap? Wide crack, the deep wide crack. That is a deep wide gap. Deep is alam, wide is big, crack, kiral. So if you are away from your family, all alone, my dear children, just keep one thing in your mind, that you are deep. There is a very big, deep and wide crack between your family and you. Let me tell you one thing. You have a very good friend of yours, a very best friend of yours. You may have many friends, but one would be a very special one for you. And that friend, as long as you spend your time with that friend of yours, I think you both get more and more closer. You know every in and out of your friend knows every in and out about you. If I ask you anything, the reply will come from your friend. Or if I ask your friend anything, that reply will come from you. That much. But if you say we are best friends and you don't spend time with each other, would you be able to know each other that well? Whereas you won't be knowing your other friends. How? How come? Because of your good relation. If you have a good relation with your friend, you will definitely obey your friend. So does here. If you have a good relation with your family, you will spend time over there where you will know what is your mother, what is your father, what is your brother, what is your sister. And when you spend time with your family, when you know everything, how does your mother think, how does your mother say, what problem she has, or whatever, that time there won't be deep, that means a big, wide crack in your relationship. Do you understand the meaning of the word deep? Deep means it's so deep, you cannot fill it. கிணற்றின் ஆழத்தை நிரப்ப முடியாது. We cannot fill the well with the mud. Can we? It will take long time, long process. That is the deep. That far away you will go from your family. Wide is big. It's such a big crack. Kiral, crack. A big crack, for example, an old house is there. How many of you would have seen an old house with cracks and all broken down into half pieces here and there like that? If there is a big crack, can you join that crack again? No. If the crack is very big, within some time, the wall will fall. So if your crack is very deep and big, my dear children, you cannot rejoin with your family again. You may not have a good relation with your father, your mother. It will take long time. But it won't be best. So this is the time where you can go and apologize to your father, mother, brother and sister individually. Go to your mother separately and say, Mama, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the things that I've done to you. Go to your father separately. Say, Papa, I'm sorry. Sorry for disobeying you. Or whatever. You know what you have done. Maybe I know there are children, those who back answer your parents. Back answer, eduthu pesiradu. Those who back raise their hands. Back raise their hands. Kai தூக்கி அடிக்கிறது. There are children. Those who beat their parents, those who back answer their parents, those who plan against their parents. I don't know in what group category do you people fall. Whatever it is, just go. Just ask them forgiveness. Try to join your relationship back. Don't let it go deep, wide. Okay? Don't let the crack to go deep and wide. ஆழமான பெரிதான கீறலை வர விடாதீங்க. That will not help you as a family. You will be left all alone if it happens. So before that, come, before it gets deeper and wider, just try to close it, cover it, and have a good life. Okay, so now we will go for the next slide. Are you all ready, children? Surely he could reach them without flying if he could only move northwards along the cliff face. But then, on what could he walk? There was no ledge, and he was not a fly. And above him he could see nothing. The precipice was sheer, and the top of it was perhaps further away than the sea beneath him. Now here we can find that he could not reach his parents without flying. If he could only move northwards along the cliff face, only if he could move the northwards of the cliff face, he could. Otherwise, without flying, he cannot. And he cannot go to the northward. But then, on what could he walk? If he has to go to the northwards or along the cliff face, on what could he walk? Because the ledge will end over there. There was no ledge. The ledge was towards the south. That we saw in the last slide. So when the ledge is towards the south, it don't have a connectivity to the north. So he cannot walk. And he was not a fly. And he did not know to fly. He could not fly. And above him, he could see nothing. Nothing was there on the sky. If there would have been someone on the sky, of course he would have given a sound or something. But even that was not there. The precipice was sheer. And the top of it was perhaps further away than the sea beneath him. So now the precipice was sheer, okay. So the end was very sheer. Sheer is pointed one also, the long one, and it had a bending space, and at the top of it was perhaps further away than the sea beneath him. Okay, what was on top of it? The sea was beneath him, and he could, he was stuck up in such a place, like neither he can go to his right, nor to the left, nor front or back. From all the place he is stuck up. Only thing he can do is, the other thing which is left out is to, only option is to fly, and that he has no guts to do that. We have been in such kind of a phase in our life. I have no help. Where can I go? If I go this side, my teachers. If I come this side, my parents. If I go there, my neighbors. If I come this side, my relatives. What can I do? How can I do? Isn't it? I have to do somehow. I have to come out somehow. Only thing is, I have to tell it to my parents. This is what I have done. Help me out. sorry, I did it without knowledge. But I have a fear. What if they punish me? What if they beat me? What if my life gets ruined? The seagull also feared just to fly and go to his parents and have his lunch or his food. If today you are in such a condition, you have done something wrong, or you are in such a big problem where you feel you are all alone, just think, stop fearing, go and get the right way and just fly out. Your family is always there for you to help. As I told in the beginning of this lesson, his parents mocked him, his parents shouted at him, scolded him. Why? Not because they want him to die of hunger, because they wanted him to live his life and enjoy his life. If you think that your parents are going to shout you or beat you or punish you, that would be for your good, not for your bad. Don't bother about that. If I have done something wrong, I have to face it. Keep the guts to face it. Just go and say, I'm sorry to your family, and just see. Even if they shout you, they punish you, the next step which they'll be taking is to help you out to come out of it. Now the second para, the next para will go to it. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau dozing, with their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. Now, how smart this fellow is. So do we sometime, we will pretend as if we are seeing to our left, but actually we'll be seeing to our right, isn't it? We'll be pretending as if we are not paying attention, but we will be paying attention. We'll be pretending as if we are not copying, but we will be copying in our exams. Have you done that? Yes. So now, here also the same thing. He stepped slowly out of the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. So he came out from the edge of from the brink, that is the edge of the ledge, and he stood on one leg, and the other leg he hided it. That means he folded it under his wings. Now he closed one of the eye and then the other eye, and he pretended as if he is sleeping. He just pretended, acted. He acted as if he is sleeping. Still, even though he was acting as if he is sleeping, standing and sleeping with one leg, he was just seeing what his parents are doing. So he noticed that they are not at all bothered about him. They did not bother. They did not see, they did not look at him at all. So he saw his two brothers and sisters were just lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. So now his brothers and sisters, besides the sea, near the shore, somewhere in the rocks, plateau is the this, right? The area away from the sea. So there they were dozing. Dozing means what? They were just sleeping. They were sleeping with their heads sunk into their Next, have you seen birds? They just squeeze their neck, their head, neck shortly and put their head over there around their where their neck is. They get it down. We cannot do it. If your head is long, can you make it short? No, but the birds they do it. They make it short and get it down, like that. And he put wherever his neck was, there he bought his head, and they were sleeping. Now his father was preening the feathers on his white back. Now what was his father doing? His father was just preening his. Have you seen the birds? They, what do you say? They wide open their wings, and with their beaks they just like do wiping work. Once you go inside the water and you come out, once you have your bath and all, you wipe your body. The same thing. Have you seen the crow and all? Crow and sparrows, when they go inside the water and they come out, they just stand out in the sun and they preen themselves, isn't it? So that is what he was doing with his feathers on his white back. Now only his mother was looking at him. Who was looking at him? His mother. To be true, my dear children, to be true to your own self, don't cheat yourself. In your heart, just answer my question. Truly, how many of you hate your mother? How many of you tortured your mother? How many of you don't respect your mother? How many of you don't obey your mother? How many of you don't consider your mother? There are many, I know. At least in one of the questions you would be there. Each and everyone would be there in any one of the questions. Your father may not be there with you all the time, but it's only your mother who is there with you every time. Even though you think that I am in the school, my mother is not here with me, I am in the playground, my mother is not here with me, don't forget, my dear children, your mother is always there with you. Even at home, your mother would be thinking, what my child would be doing in the school? Really would be he paying attention in the class, or he'll be making mischief, because she knows you. படிச்ச மாதிரி உட்காருவானா, படிக்க மாட்டான், கிளாஸ்ல உண்மையில கவனிக்கானா இல்லைனா குறும்பு பண்றானா. She will be paying attention on you. Wherever you may be, though her presence won't be there, she'll be bothered about you. She'll be caring about you. And that is what she shows you after you come home from school. How did you study? What did they teach? Did you understand? Is there any doubt? Isn't all this question rise up once you go home? Do you want me to speak to your teacher? Do you want me to speak to your principal? Do you want me to come to your school and talk about it? Don't your mother ask you? So now, my dear children, this fellow, he thought, oh my God, more than 24 hours it's passed, no one is bothered about me, let me act and get their attention. தனியாக இருந்து பார்த்தேன், அப்படியாவது அவங்க வாராங்களா, உடச்சி பார்த்தேன், வரல. இனி நடிச்சு பார்ப்போம், வாராங்களான்னு பார்ப்போம். நானா போக மாட்டேன். கெத்து, that pride. No ma, proud will never work. பெருமை ஒரு நாளும் கை கொடுக்காது. Proud will never help you until and unless a person humbles himself. ஒருத்தன் தன்னை தாழ்த்தும் வரைக்கும் அவனுக்கு முன்னேற்றமே இல்லை. He will never find any success. If you don't humble yourself, you will not find success. Humble, தாழ்த்துகிறது, success, முன்னேற்றம். Proud, பெருமை. So humble yourself. Okay. So here this fellow, this seagull, he did not humble himself. He showed his proudness. And how? by acting. This is what we do, isn't it? Now he is acting as if he is sleeping, and he saw that no one is bothered about him. அவனை பத்தி யாருக்கும் கவலை இல்லை. Bothered, கவலை. No one is worried about him. No one is looking at him. யாரும் கவனிக்கல. No one is looking at him. Then he saw that his two brothers and sister are, they are also sleeping, and his father is preening his feathers, but only his mother is looking at him. Your mother is always there for you. Let's go to the next slide. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet, and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. He uttered a low cackle. His mother cackled too and looked at him. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau. Now, at the last slide we saw that no one were paying attention to him. All were busy sleeping and doing their own work. His father, he was busy pruning himself, right? Cleaning himself. He was cleaning at his back. You would have seen birds. They turn their head backside, and with their beak, they clean their backside also. That is what he was doing. And his mother, she was just looking at him. Now, as she was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, who? Seagull's mother, her white breast thrust forward. So, have you seen the birds? They, their head will be there, and after that, their chest part, they will bring it in front like, that's what. She thrust it forward. Now and again, she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet. Okay, she had caught a fish, she had kept it under her feet, holded it, and she tore that fish, and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock, and then scraped. And have you seen the crows? Whenever they eat, after eating, they just scrap their beaks on the stone or the rock or the mud. It's a kind of wiping their mouth or sharpening their beak. So the same way, she also scraped the each side of her beak on the rock, and then the sight of the food maddened him. Whom? The seagull. When he saw the food with his mother, it made him mad. See, for example, if you are hungry and someone in front of you eats burger or pizza or even a bread, what you will think? Oh my God, I'm hungry and he's eating burger and pizza. You will get that madness, isn't it? That's what was his state at that moment. How he loved to tear food that way. He really loved to do that. He wanted to do that, but he was unable because of his fear. Scraping his beak now and again to wet it. Now he wanted to scrap his beak. He also wanted to scrap his beak like his mother, how she did this side and that side. Okay, that was for what? That was for sharpening the beak. He uttered a low cackle. So now he had gave a cackle. He gave a sound like sparrow's sound. Crow gives his sound. Seagull gives a cackle like whatever sound seagulls give. So have you seen, if one crow says caw, the other crow will also return it back. So when he cackled slowly with a little voice, his mother also cackled and looked at him. Now let's see in the next para, how do they cackle? Ga ga, ga ga ga. So this is how the seagull gives the sound. Ga ga ga, like, okay. So he cried, begging her to bring him over some food. Gowl, ha, gowl, ha, she screamed back mockingly. But he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. But when she was just opposite to him, abreast of the ledge, she halted, her legs hanging limp, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach to his beak. So now this is the sound of a um, seagull, ga 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 ga, and he gave that sound and he cried out. How he was begging his mother, "Mummy, please give me some food. Bring here, no, you have the food with you. Please give it to me. Bring it to me here." And she screamed back mockingly with angry, Gauloha. That means in anger, with angry she is saying, she's screaming, she's shouting at him, saying, mocking means what? What do you mean by mocking? Mocking is to let a person down. Yes, if you want, you come. I cannot give you. You are a coward fellow. You are a scary fellow. Yeah? By Nanguli and all. So like that, she scolded. She mocked him. But he kept calling plaintively. But he just keep calling his mother again. Please, please, like silently, calmly. And after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. And after some time, so sadly, okay, now this plaintively, it means sadly, calling in a sad way, sadly, with very sad voice, he was calling his mother, even though his mother mocked him. Mummy, please, mummy, like that. Please, mummy, will you help me? In that way. He was giving the sound, and after some time, with very joyful scream, with very happiness, he called him. And his mother had picked up a piece of fish, and she came across him and leaned out eagerly, and leaned out. She came across him and she gave gave the fish to him. Not exactly, but like sometimes just we don't give, but we put our hand forward as if we are going to give, no? Like that. Tapping the rock with his feet, and with the feet there on the rock, that is the leaf where he was, there she just tapped with her feet and trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. And he was trying to come nearer to her mother. Wherever her mother was, his mother was, he wanted to come nearer to him when he saw that his mother is coming with a fish in his beak. So she flew across him. But when she was just opposite to him, exactly just very opposite, when the mother was very opposite to him, close by oppositely, abreast of the ledge, okay, just abreast of the ledge, just a little difference, she halted, she stopped there, her legs hanging limp. Okay, now her legs are not perfectly on the leaf, it's just hanging out. With the wings, she's just standing, her wings motionless, her wings are not moving, and the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of his beak. Now the fish which is there on in the mother's beak almost is it is almost nearer, as if just touching, difference, like that. It is just within the reach of his beak, very close. The fish had come very, very close. So here in this passage, what do we see, my dear children? We see that After trying, after doing all this thing and all, when we saw that no one is noticing us, each and everyone are busy with their own thing, we still keep on trying. Won't they come? Won't they come? And when our mother, she noticed that we are, acting and pretending to do some things, now she is also too smart. She will also pretend as if she's, she will urge you first. That is what he or she did with the fish in her mouth, under her feet, tearing and scrapping here and there, thinking that at least by seeing this, my son will fly and come. But still he didn't. So he called, he cried, okay, sadly and all that ice work, putting icing work to the mother, or everything he did. So when he did all this, the mother also very smart. She also, okay, I will also come. She came, but she was acting as if she has come. No, she did not come, but she was just acting. This is what we can see in the next slide. So now children, as we have seen this lesson, now it's time for your homework. So you have to read your whole lesson and find out the answers for these fill in the blanks and the questions. I hope you'll enjoy reading and doing the lesson work at home, and as you read you will understand more better the lesson so that it will be useful for your life. Kindly send the answers to your WhatsApp number. Thank you.